What is up, everybody? Welcome to
What's
the
up?
AEW Forbidden Door
What's
2025 watch along. And I'm sad. I mean, we had a great show, but however, we have to kind of kick things off with the fact that Will Ospreay is going to be gone from AEW for the time being. It looks like he's going to, go off and he deal with the next stuff and all of that. So we don't know how long Will is going to be gone for, but today after the lights out match, they basically like wrote him off for a while. So like we already knew like going into the match that was going to happen, but yeah, man, I'm bummed. I'm sad. Everyone knows that, Will Ospreay is, my favorite and also like a lot of people's favorites. I'm sad, Reg. How are you feeling?
It's a bittersweet feeling, I think, because like you said, Osprey has nobody can do it like Osprey. Like it could be Dynamite, Denise, and we'll get the best match we've ever seen from Will Osprey. The pay-per-views, best pay-per-views matches we've ever seen. Like he's done it so many times in his time being in AEW that I'm now used to it. So I'm like, that void of not a guaranteed banger being able to happen is pretty unfortunate. But I've known for a little time that he was going to take off sometime, so it's not as shocking. So
It
it
still
does suck though.
sucks,
It
and
sucks.
seeing the fallout of it still
Yeah.
sucks, like, when you see it actually happening, like, we knew heading into this was gonna happen or
Mhm.
something along those lines, but when you're seeing it be executed and you see the goodbye moments and, you see him kiss the ring and really take in the crowd and hear the Osprey chants and everything, you're just kind of like, damn, man. Like, here's the thing, like, AW has so many great wrestlers, like, they have so many great
A
people,
bunch.
but Will Ospreay is kind of on another level
He's one
right
of a
now.
kind.
Yeah, one of
Mhm.
a kind. And just like you said, it doesn't matter if it's Dynamite or Collision, a big show, a little show, you're going to get these really high caliber matches. So with Will gone, who knows when he's going to be back, and obviously wishing him nothing but the very best. And then they also did like a really nice heartfelt entrance for him where his is it his wife or is it his fiance with Alex Windsor?
I
Um
Are they married? I think
I'm
did
not
they get
sure.
married recently? One of those
Um,
things. Yeah.
well, regardless, she
Mhm.
narrated the video. So it's just like a very sweet, tender way to like, go out there and have your entrance, your last entrance for a really long time, for who knows how long. But
Yeah.
it's Will Ospreay, he's the GOAT, he's like a crazy athlete. So, athletes just they be doing things differently than us, and they can recover their bodies and get to the place they need to be.
It's also I mean it has to be attributed to the style too, Denise. I mean, exactly the things that we are describing here about Osprey is part of the reason we're gonna get more injuries and things like this. High impact style, the highest impact style every single week. We've seen him drop people on their head, get dropped on his head. We've seen him do so many amazing things. And it's not just him, it's wrestling in general. When we have so many high impact, high speed matches, that the injuries are going to start to look different than they did in the past, just because wrestlers are working harder. And we're seeing it across the wrestling industry. It's unfortunate, but as hard as Osprey has been going for the last 10, 15 years, like you can understand with how hard he goes, you know?
He doesn't have the body of work that he does. He doesn't called, the GOAT for just having, mid matches. Like,
No.
no, he's got like an insane body of work, man. Like the
Yeah.
reputation, preceded him even before, he came into AEW with all the work in New Japan and Indies and all of that. So all of everything that he did that led to the big money contract in AEW. And what's crazy too is that, oh my God, Reg, we were waiting for him to become AEW World Champion.
Not only that, Denise, remember
I don't want to
when
remember.
um going into All In, there was a stipulation: if Swerve and Osprey lose the match, they can't challenge for the world
And
title
now
for a
they're
year.
both fucking out.
And we were like, don't ever do that. That'd be so dumb. And now, like at this point, they're probably both going to be out. So isn't that something? They could have
What
just
the
did the stipulation.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm
But
so sad.
Denise, we know wrestling showed and historically over times like this, if you lose top stars, you lose top guys, that means this the opportunity for someone else to step up, the opportunity for the guys that are in the back not getting the chance to shine on TV, get the chance to shine on TV. So who's going to step up in these guys' place? Who's going to be the next one that we're talking about? Is anybody going to capitalize off of this?
Yo, you try filling Will Ospreay's shoes. Good luck.
You can't.
Honestly, though, good fucking luck
Don't
trying
try.
to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully we have Darby back, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So we got him back. Very happy to see that. We still got so many other cool people and whatnot. But yeah, Swerve also basically got written off on the show too. Many people also saw that he had been dealing with a torn meniscus issue and all of that. So I'm surprised that because I think they said he'd been dealing with it for several years, even before he got to AEW. So
Since
it's like,
NXT.
yo, you did all of those matches that you've done in your AEW career with a fucked up knee. What now?
I
Like,
can't
that's
believe
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the spots and things that I think of him doing his own whole entire time. The thing that they utilized in this match today to harp on it, where he flips over the top rope and lands on his feet. He's done that so many times with the not great knee, and I can't believe that we've gotten this run with him not being at 100%. It's amazing. It's amazing what these wrestlers can do.
And yeah, it really, really is. And obviously, being out with your knee and then being out with a neck injury, it's totally, different, but still really bad regardless. But obviously, more so the neck, that's, it's your head and
Yeah.
shit. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. So here's the thing, though. Even though we kind of started off with a bummer here, because that really was like the big crap moment, we did have a really good show with a lot of really good wrestling, man.
We did.
I want to start with the lights out steel cage match. I want to work our way from the top to the bottom because I'm sorry, from the bottom to the top, but here to the top to the bottom. All right, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
All right, so the lights out steel cage match, we just saw it right now. It was violent, it was gruesome, but thankfully, though, I don't feel like we saw anything so dangerous. I think we've seen, okay, here's the thing. We've seen AEW and their talent do some crazy shit. I feel like today the craziest moments that I can recall was the fork spot mainly, and that one was more so just gross.
That's
doing
fine,
the
yeah.
fork into
Mhm.
Darby's ear, and then Darby and Gabe Kidd going through from the top of the cage into those four tables. That was probably the craziest spot. And even then, I don't even know. I think the Spanish fly off the top of the cage from Will and Kyle is still crazier to me than that specific spot. And then even Darby going through the glass at Revolution.
Yeah, right.
That was even crazier. So
Mhm.
even though this was crazy, we have seen crazier things.
This is about as safe as you could get with the circumstances. When they announced this match, I was like, oh man, there's some people here that aren't 100%. Denise, we know Ospreay was going into this. Tanahashi, who's on his, farewell retirement tour, isn't in the greatest shape. Kenny Omega has been in and out of hospital, dealing with injuries, all kind of stuff. Kota Ibushi just came back off of a crazy injury. So it was like, this could be a disaster, Denise. Like seeing it on paper, seeing who was in this match, it was dangerous. It's only going to be one ring plus the cage, so we didn't really know what was going to happen. But they were smart about this. They made a bigger cage to go around the ring to give everybody some room to stretch and do their thing. And like you're saying, even the gigantic, scary spots were still pretty tame compared to what we've seen guys in this specific match do. Like Gabe took that scary ass bump with Darby, which is probably like the scariest crazy thing, and I hope he's doing okay. But for the most part, it was like, oh, it seems like everybody got in there as safe as they can due to the circumstances. Because there was a lot in this match, Denise. There was tables, there was gummy bears, there was
Gummy
barbed
bears, they were
wires.
the most dangerous.
There is barbed wire. But I think beyond that, just having so many bodies where you can't see where you're throwing a guy, Denise, or you're running out here and you might run to someone. You might step on somebody's foot. The danger factor of having so many other guys in there with the unpredictability, I think, was more dangerous. And it seems like everything was as fine as you can get. Seeing all these guys work together, I thought was great. The baby faces had a lot of fun. We're baby faces. Let's do this thing. The heels were more on let's fuck these guys up. I thought it was about as fun as you could get considering the circumstances.
No, yeah, there was so many great moments. You mentioned all of the bits like with the table and the barbed wire, the gummy bear spot. I mean, God, every single high spot that you can possibly think. Will Ospreay practically decapitating every single member of the Bucks and the Death Riders and everything, that whole group. It was fantastic. Like seeing all of these guys just go out there. It was really, really awesome. And I'm just yeah, I'm still a little sad. Oh, there was the moment. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything that happened in this match. We just saw it. The moment with the Golden Lovers and the Young Bucks, that was pretty awesome because everyone was like, oh shit, like here we go. You know, these guys that have done iconic work with each other. So to see them in the ring together, staring off each other, that was really awesome. But let's go into what you guys are saying. Thank you so much to everybody who's showing support to this podcast, by the way. We got Nell D who says they can just climb the cage. Marina climbs.
Right.
This is where I kind of had to suspend my disbelief, and I even kept calling it out when we were seeing it because when they did the attack on Will Ospreay, the Death Riders, everybody, like the group members, they couldn't get back into the cage, and then even the ops came out to try to help out. They had like how many guys out there? 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, and none of them could get back in there to help out Will Ospreay. I did not love that part because I did feel like, okay, you can climb the cage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like any other circumstance, somebody would have already been trying to get up there to get to the top. Darby Allin was fucked up, but he still would have tried to climb to make sure these guys didn't get in there. And so them finally lifting the cage, like, why didn't they lift the cage at the beginning? Why did it take for Will Hobbs, it sounded like, yelling at fools to get it there? So that part was a little like, but they were trying to get over the point that we're getting Ospreay out of here. So I'm not super mad at it.
We got Infamous Raider Loco here. Says, damn, seeing Will say I'll miss you guys for this final goodbye, then seeing Denise eyes water up got me. Crazy sad stuff, man. We got John Taylor who says, I'm so sad I don't even have a funny Blue Chew read. I know. We got Tracy WV who says, my heart is broken. He was one of the reasons I started watching AEW. Hangman, Swerve, and Ospreay, and now 2 of my 3 are home due to injury, just like KO. Yeah, man, KO's gone. Jesus, man, look, again, guys, it's pro wrestling. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. Thank you, Tracy. We got Chris Ludek who says AEW could be without 2 top stars for a while.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah. I mean, fuck, man. Like
2
it's
top
not
stars,
great.
like the big guys.
Thankfully, they got Hangman and, you know, all these other, like Kenny. And
Fletcher.
unfortunately, though, like, you know, Kenny's just not.
Brody King and Bandido, they got it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not all the way over.
We got Antonio Morales here who says, couldn't watch live. Should I watch tomorrow? I mean, honestly, yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on the show that you'll like. We got Chris Ludek here who says, if Ospreay and Swerve both need surgery, I think the Hurt Syndicate will be 2 of the top baby faces for a bit with Hangman. Also, Reg, next month, I'm hanging with Cara Maria, Polly, Horacio, and Nuris. Oh, cool. I just don't. Look, I'm going to be real with you. I don't really see the Hurt Syndicate as being those top 2 baby faces. I just see them as heels.
I mean, I think today with the match, they were trying to tell us that they're going to be baby. That was supposed to be a baby face thing. Like,
it didn't feel like it. I was more so being like, oh, they're gone from the match. Okay.
Yeah, it was more like, oh, you guys are getting the hell out of here so you can be away from that pinfall as far as you can.
Yeah.
They are over though, Denise. Like in every place they go to, people love their theme. Like even in tonight's match, I think
their theme is over.
No,
cool,
no, because even during,
just kidding.
even during the match, the crowd was like trying to get them to beat people's ass. Like they've gotten to a point where the crowd wants to see them fucking throttle fools and run through them, but that's just not how the game works. But they are over.
Look, I'm going to be real with you. I haven't liked what the Hurt Syndicate has done in past pay-per-views. Like, I didn't think they've had strong matches. This match was the best one that they've had, but they also had Brodido in there and FTR in there. I kind of prefer the Hurt Syndicate when Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are in singles matches.
Same here. Yeah, so I think coming out of them being tag team champions, I do want to see them both be singles guys because I think they could... They cover a lot more ground. Is that Bobby Lashley star power is still super high, so you can have him like he could be next for Hangman, or he could be like slotted into that, and that would make sense. And so many Shelton Benjamin's such a big brooding presence that people respect and have respected for so long that I think him working against guys and not necessarily putting people over, because that sounds crazy with these two guys, but helping with this young talent. I think that works more than them just being these tag champions that destroy everyone.
Exactly. And I think that kind of got a little bit like dull to see, at least for me. But anyways, so with all of that though, we did have Brodido get the win in an awesome match, man. Dude, they were flying bodies everywhere. There was so much that we saw in there, but unfortunately the finish looked like I'm not even sure. We didn't see a replay of this. I'm not even sure what exactly went wrong, but there was a hiccup there where it looked like there was missed timing. Someone kicked out, someone didn't kick out. He counted 3, but then he went for it. I don't know. It was a very, very messy ending. But in the crowd was confused too. So that moment when Brodido did actually get the 3 count, there wasn't that instantaneous pop or reaction because people were confused, but the match was awesome. Unfortunately, though, the finish did take away from the actual moment, and you can't talk about the match without talking about the finish.
What's up? There was a couple of them that we're going to talk about in this show that was going on. Maybe the finishes across the board. Wrestling are very difficult to book with making everybody look good and trying to do all these things. So I do understand where they get caught up in that. It just gets unfortunate. I thought the tag match was awesome though. Like I had a different kind of thought on what this was going to be, because one, I thought that FTR was just going to win the tournament and then go to this to defeat the Hurt Syndicate to become World Tag Team Champions. But I think a lot happened coming up in this tournament, Denise. And I think the best thing that happened was Brodido, Bandido, and Brody King got so over. Like I think AEW expected that they would be a great team, but I don't think they expected this. Like crowds are like, most people coming into this match were like, Brodido, we want them to be the ones. Like they're the next tag team. They're doing this for us. So I think that changed a lot going into this. So when they made it a triple threat match and it was like, oh, that we know what that means. Like that Hurt Syndicate is playing a role in all this. So it was great, I think, to see Brodido get the win, just because, like I said, the last couple of weeks, they've been gaining more fans. Their matches have been super exciting. They're balls to the wall, hardcore type shit. And what this AEW tag team division needs, they have it. Like they're going to go in immediately and it's going to feel like the division has been reinvigorated just because what these two guys are doing. So I'm super excited about that. I think that for the most part, 98% of this match was awesome. That finish part got a little bit boggled down, and the Hurt Syndicate being taken out kind of took me out of it a little bit, but I think they had the right winners.
We got Hassan Butler here who says Young Bucks got to be mad AF. They lost their EVP status to 2 guys who are out on injury anyways. Literally right now what Reg just mentioned. Crazy that all went down the way that it did. And imagine had we known all of this when this match was actually happening. Yeah. No, we would have been thinking totally differently. Oh man.
But it did work out though, because I think that was the right choice, because what the Young Bucks have been doing post All In has been amazing. So we need
the EVP stuff was completely expired at that point. We got Ryan K. Lamb who says, after that beating, give us Alex Windsor versus Marina. She should be like, hey man, what the hell is your problem?
That's
Get her revenge.
Yes, Windsor needs to ride for her guy.
We got Grapple Geekery here who says, not a bad pay-per-view, but the stupid setup for the world title soured that match for me. The tag match was weird. The bummer Ospreay ending was not fun, B-. So I do want to get into that right now, and that's MJF and Hangman Page almost basically had an amazing match, except for one little patch towards, so these guys were going, I mean, 2 little things, okay? So the whole thing was that Hangman couldn't get DQ'd, or if he did get DQ'd, he would lose his title, right? And same thing if he was to get counted out. So there was a bunch of moments, though, that you could say, technically, that's kind of a DQ for Hangman Page, but the match kept going. So it got really blurry in terms of what is and isn't considered a DQ at this point, right? And usually with AEW, we see that a whole lot. But in this particular match, it actually meant something a little bit more. Fine, whatever. They ended up working this incredible freaking match. I mean, they were going ham on each other, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But then they had a moment where they had MJF. God, I don't even think he did a ref bump. Yeah, he crashed into the ref. Ref goes down. He takes out Hangman Page, but then the referee gets right back up. But the referee counts to 3 and doesn't see that Hangman Page has his foot on the rope. So we're like, what? Is this match over? Is someone going to say anything? Mark Briscoe goes out there and they take him out. So he doesn't even do anything. We continue this match, and I can't even tell you everything that happened from this point because it was kind of an overbooked mess at this point. And whatever, we restarted the match, we got back into it, and then finally, like the last little bits, Hangman Page uses the contract when the referee wasn't looking, smashes MJF in the head, and gets the W after the buckshot lariat and all of that. And there was also that kick-ass moment where he did the dead eye onto the table for MJF, which was crazy. But
yeah.
All of this to say, the match was almost perfect had they just erased that tiny bit with the freaking leg on the bottom rope.
They had to bog it down. I think that it a couple of times when initially 2 weeks ago when Hangman got Max to do the match with the contract, I was in, and then this week they did. Max tricked him, forced him with all these rules. You could get disqualified and lose the belt. You could get counted out and lose the belt. I still have the contract. Like all these things were like, okay, you guys are adding a little too much for the match. Forget it. It was washed out. The match was awesome. These two guys were going bar for bar. Max was working a really smart heel type of match, just like being dastardly and coming around the corners and cutting Hangman off, doing all the things I thought he should do as a heel. And Hangman was being Hangman, the baby face of the company, the face of the company, just staying all over Max, fighting him, doing all the things he could do along the line to not get disqualified, like hitting the dead eye on the table, like doing these kind of spots that the referee doesn't see. So he still has that, I'm not just a baby face, I'm going to let people get over on me, but I'm still going to work like the Hangman you guys love, add a little bit of heel tactics, but I'm still the guy that's going to finish this. So I thought, like you saying, 95% of this match was great. Then they got to it started to be shenanigans corner. MJF's trying to convince Hangman to hit him with the Dynamite Diamond ring, and I'm like, oh cool, you're trying to get him disqualified, this is fine. They do the ref bump, the ref is down, then he gets back up to count to 3 for MJF, but he doesn't ring the bell, and I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part.
After he rings the bell, then he's dead again. I mean, after he counts to 3, 1, 2, 3, dead. Actually, can't see, can't hear, can't do anything. So he dies for like, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes while Mark Briscoe comes down. They stop him. They do all this. Referee still dead. He's down. He hasn't looked up. Soon as Max turns his back to go and knock Hangman's foot off, all of a sudden, Bryce Remsburg is the most up. He's never been down. He has all this energy. He sees exactly what Max is doing. Why? What is this? Why is it? It could have worked if it didn't make the referee look like an idiot. So it's like he's an idiot, but then after they make him look like an idiot, then he revives himself. Then he's the smartest ref of all time. He's seeing everything that Max does. Max tries to hit Hangman with the Dynamite Diamond ring, and all of a sudden he has fucking X-ray vision. He can see through the back. So what the hell is going on? Just be consistent with it. Like if you want to do this, make the ref be dumb. That's it. Or make the ref be smart. He can't be all the things to play into whatever the match is going on. I thought that just kind of bogged down the match. Like the finish was too much, but I thought it was great. Hangman finished him and looked like a strong world champion coming out of it. But that part kind of was like, this is silly.
Hangman got a crazy reaction, though, at the end from the crowd. They were in love with it. Luke Owen texted me, and he was like, that match was insane to watch live. So maybe I don't know what that looked like on the live feed. Obviously, sometimes when you're there in person, you do miss certain little things that come through a lot stronger on TV. So I do think, like, if you were there, it just felt different than if you were watching on TV. Just with that minor portion. But everything else was really good, though. Like, they fucking killed it. Right. Everything else. So just that one patch, and that's it. We got John Taylor here who says, with Ospreay and maybe Swerve out, I think Fletcher, Takeshita, and hopefully a returning Eddie Kingston ascend. I know Denise isn't a huge Eddie Kingston fan. They just call me out. Like, call me out.
All day getting called out.
But I am a Takeshita fan, and I am a Kyle Fletcher fan. So I do think that those guys can really deliver those kinds of matches that I want to see. Thank you, John. We got Luke Thornton here who says, Lights Out alone was worth the $50. Insane show. Too many great moments, but Lights Out, Hanger, Fletcher, Toni, and the four-way were my favorites. Those are pretty much all of mine, too. I do want to talk about that four-way with the women. Mercedes Moné defeating Alex Windsor, Bozilla, and Persephone. Bro, this was my first time seeing Bozilla, and I was so impressed with her. But these women, they went after Kyle Fletcher and Hiromu Takahashi, and that was the match I was most looking forward to. And when that match happened, I'm like, oh, this is the match of the night. And then the women match happened, and I'm like, oh shit, I think this is actually the match of the night, because they went to town, man. The size difference between Bozilla and Mercedes Moné was so fun to see. All of the combos and moments and the double sharpshooters and everything that they did was just so much fun, and they felt like they got a lot of time to do all of what they did.
Yeah, I think that was probably the best part of the match is they got to build to the finish. They got to build to the big moments. Bozilla coming out and being this kind of like unstoppable force that all the other women are like, we don't really know what the hell we can do with this. Like every time they try to get leverage over him, she just throwing them off, slapping them, pushing their head, doing all these things to stay like this huge giant. So throughout the match, I'm just like, you guys got to jump this person. There's no way that one single of you are going to stop her. So them kind of continuously utilizing that, and Bozilla being like this big Terminator that's like, no matter what you guys do, I'm going to get through all of this. Alex Windsor, we talked about multiple times on our watch alongs, Denise. Amazing. She's been doing so great. I love her style, the way that she works, her being kind of at home, and the people having her back, and using that energy to try to win this match, I thought was great. Persephone looked amazing. I think that her in CMLL, she kind of plays the Bozilla role in CMLL of like, I'm bigger than a lot of people. I kind of use my strength, and like, I don't care. But Bozilla's like a different breed. When you see her compared to everybody, you're like, oh, she feels like something. It felt like a star making moment, Denise, because I think a lot of people came into this like you, being like, I don't know who this person is. I've never seen him. This is a first debut for me of seeing Bozilla, and she just came and tore everybody up. And I think a lot of the chat and like what we were feeling after the match were like, damn, Bozilla really did this. She really made a name for herself. She really was the star of this match. But I mean, when the greatest of all time, Mercedes Moné, is in the match with her great gear, her great hair, her great look, the entrance was amazing. Like, it didn't even have to get to the match. But that's my favorite thing about Mercedes and this run is she works all the matches so different, and she works as a smart heel, meaning she always figures out the way to win. Like, she doesn't ever suffocate anybody. She doesn't use her heel tactics to be the best person in the match. She uses her heel tactics to figure out, no matter what you do to me, how can I get that one little thing over you to win? And that's what she used in this match. She's like, setback, took a lot of punishment from all three of the women, but she really figured out how to win this match, and coming out with the victory is how she did it. Still the champion, 9 belts, Moné. They hate her. They're going to continue to hate her. But I thought, beyond that, one of my favorite matches of the show, because all these women, everybody in the match got to display themselves, and everybody came out looking like a big star. And I think it was great for the women.
It 100% was. Like, I was looking at this and I was thinking to myself, dude, this roster for the AEW women's division is on a whole other level. And not
It's
to
hot.
mention, we also got, yeah, exactly. We also got Toni Storm and Athena that went down today. And I feel kind of bad because the crowd wasn't necessarily as invested. This wasn't a bad match whatsoever. The crowd just wasn't as invested in this. I think, Reg, I think part of it had to do with 2 reasons. One, people knew Toni Storm was taking this W.
Yes.
2, I don't think that they're necessarily, the AEW audience is as invested in Athena just yet in order to kind of get there. I think they need to see more of what Athena can do in the ring, because a lot of people, didn't get to see what she was doing on the Ring of Honor side. You were hearing it. And so that automatically gives you the respect for Athena. So you go into this and you respect it, but the crowd just wasn't really connecting with this one.
Yeah, I don't know if the way that they got Athena here was played a role, but like you're saying, a lot of AEW fans don't know what she did in Ring of Honor, don't know like why do people talk the way that they do about Athena? Why are we excited about Athena even being in the feud with Toni Storm? What's the reason? And they didn't really they didn't explain it, and fully they explain it, but if you don't super know, you might not super know. So like, maybe debuting her the way that they debuted her, have her win the contract. They maybe should have stretched it out a little bit more, because getting her immediately being like, and I'm challenging you, Toni Storm, when people are thinking like you're thinking, Denise, of like, you're probably not going to win. You're set up. Everything's against you in this match. So I think people kind of went into it like that. Like, well, we don't really know Athena yet. We don't know why she's in this position, and we don't know why we should cheer or boo her. And I think they need to establish that. I thought, regardless of that, having her on TV to start that thing and start to get people into her was the best way to do it. Having her continue. She's been on Dynamite, Collision, like all the shows post All In, and I think she's been doing such a tremendous job having such great matches. And today was a super fun match too, Denise. Like, I think that match placement wasn't the greatest, and the time, and fans are kind of fatigued by the time they got to the match. But if you just watch this match in a bubble and don't care about anybody else, super fun match, a very smartly worked match. Athena using that, like, don't care about any of this pressure. I don't care about the fans. I don't care about this. I'm coming to win this match. I'm going to use all the things that I've beaten other women on my way up in this Ring of Honor run to beat you with. And Toni, you just can't, though. She's in this generational run. She comes out looking great. She always plays to the crowd. She always plays to where she is. And there's not a lot you can do to defeat her. And I think that Toni Storm had the strategy of, you could bring anything, a missile, a bomb, whatever you want. There's nothing you could do to stop me. I'm on this run. Nothing in the world is going to stop me from being the AEW World's Women's Champion. And I thought her utilizing a lot of those things, taking out Billy Starks really quick with the pile driver, making it just a one-on-one match, was awesome. They had a great technical kind of match. There was some brawling in it. There was some strong strikes. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. Probably could have used a little bit more time, but with how pay-per-views and everything was flowing, I understand why they did it.
No, I think they had a good amount of time, especially considering how the crowd was already, a little bit out of it. I think any additional time would have just kind of like even taken more away from, them getting hyped for it. We got Infamous Raider Loco here who says, hoping Orange Cassidy comes back, another great baby face that gets crowd going. The crowd going, wait for later. Lola versus Kalani versus Jade is going to lift my spirits. I'll bring the take later and that Blue Chew. Let's go. I will be doing an NXT Heat Wave watch along afterwards, but let's finish this out. We got John Taylor here who says, I think it's clear that in the babyface void we're about to have, only one man can fill that void. Wee! Killer Cross TikTok, Denise TikTok, says John. All right, we got
John,
Christian here.
Go to bed.
We got Christian here who says, disgusting and tasteless ending to end an otherwise stellar card, given recent events such as Rampage Jackson Sunch almost killing a man in the ring, shaking my head. Here's the thing, though. I can't correlate those two things. Like, they're two totally different things. Like, what happened with Raja Jackson and what he did, that was awful and horrible. This here was a storyline where everyone knew what they were supposed to do and everything was planned and went accordingly to plan. It sucks for the fans, of course, that Ospreay is going to be gone, but these are two worlds, different situations.
Completely different.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So we're sad because Ospreay is going to be gone, but we knew they had to sort of write him off the way that they did. Obviously, they could have just left it at Will Ospreay getting that moment. We weren't expecting for Ospreay to then get attacked afterwards. But I guess they felt like they needed to do it. I don't know that they necessarily needed it because we already knew, okay, you know what, Will Ospreay is going to be taking that time off. But maybe AEW felt like, okay, we need to really, really cement the fact that Will Ospreay is going to be gone.
Yeah, because I thought
Thank you, Christian.
As the show was ending and he was just waving and leaving, I'm like, I was even thinking in my wrestling brain, he's just going to leave? That's not how wrestling usually works. Wrestling, usually you're about to be out, somebody's going to take you out. And so when they started taking him out, it's like, okay, yeah, this makes sense.
Right, but they didn't have to do it, though. Like, they didn't have to do it. We all recognized what was happening. All of that. We knew what was going to happen. But again, wrestling, like you said, wrestling brain, you got to get the heels to like attack and basically write them off. That's how we've seen this a million times. We got John Taylor here who says, "Oh, I'm reminding everyone that Denise hates Eddie Kingston.
She
Word on
does.
the dirt sheet says it's even more than she hates Wheeler Yuta." I don't know, bro. At
Not
least
that much.
Eddie Kingston has a haircut that I can stand.
Oh my God.
We got Luke Thornton here who says excited to where Hanger and Hayter go next. Hopefully Thekla feud for Jamie. Yeah, we got to
Yes.
see Jamie Hayter return, have a nice moment following the women's match. That was awesome to get to see her go out there and take out Thekla and do her thing. She got a great reaction, and we definitely want to see her consistently. You know, she's has that ability to be the top star in the AEW women's division.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a fun way to bring her back. They just had Thekla and Aminata brawl out into the crowd. They had a match earlier on 0 Hour, so they're kind of continuing the fight from then. And while it was happening, I'm like, well, why is this happening? And it's like, oh yeah, they have a big giant star that could return here and turn heads, and that's exactly what happened. I think what's exactly what we're talking about the AEW women's division for a lot of this show and for a lot of these shows. This is a big, heavy hitter that could be slotted into any position, number one contenders or whatever it is, and up the level of the women's division. She's a big star, and she should be slotted immediately in. We got to get to it with Jamie Hayter. I'm excited that she's back.
And we also have Arnold Nicholson Jr. who says, does Mina beat Athena for the Ring of Honor title? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't follow Ring of Honor very much, so I'm kind of out of the loop, and I want to see Mina on Dynamite. So that's where I'm at. And she was out there today, chasing out Billy Stark, so that was fun. Yeah. Thank you, Arnold. All right, we got a few minutes left here, so let's get to it. Let's rock it out. Okada, Swerve Strickland, not a bad match. Of course, it wasn't the very best for Swerve in terms of, he's got the meniscus issue, and they also wrote him off during this, but we know that we've seen far better, but it wasn't a bad match though. Reg, how'd you feel about
it? There became a time in this show where things started going quickly, and I don't know if the curfew thing played into it, but it seems like a couple of these matches could have they were paced fast. Like everything was, a couple of these wrestlers on the show, Okada, Toni Storm, and Athena, they need time to develop. FTR, they're one of those teams too. They need time to develop their matches. Like you gotta have like a beginning, middle, and end type deal, and you gotta like not slow walk through them, but you gotta establish to the fans what this is gonna be. This is what this match felt like. Okada, you give Okada 25 to 30, that's when he really gets kicked in the hide. After 20 minutes is when Okada's like, we're having a wrestling match now. And so this was kind of like they're just going through, like they're going through it. It's a great match, like for what they were doing. Swerve and Okada giving you their best. They played into Swerve's torn meniscus or whatever he has in his meniscus in a lot of the match. A couple of the spots he was favoring it. Okada was that cold-blooded, I don't care about any of this. I'm just here to finish this match. I'm here to hit my Rainmaker and get out. So those elements were great, but it's just another one of those, I feel like 4 or 5 more minutes to really kind of establish some struggle, some whatever to get to the finish would have been a lot better for me. But this also kind of fell into that thing that you're talking about earlier with Toni Storm. I don't think there ever was one moment where anybody thought Swerve was going to beat Okada. Like when this match was announced,
we all knew what was happening. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like there's never been 1 second coming up with this story where we're like, Swerve got this. It's always like, this is going to be a fun match that Okada's going to win.
Also, thank you so much to Broken A7, who just became a brand new member of the DWO. We also got Patrick Van Cleef, who was at the show. He says, just got back from the O2. 6 hours just flew by. Great show. I feel like this was the perfect timing and perfect pace for an AEW show. Like, I felt like we got through it. And to think that they got through it so fast and there was still crowd fatigue, unfortunately, during the Toni Storm Athena match. But still, it didn't feel as bad as other times that crowds have been fatigued.
It feels a lot different, Denise, starting it at 10 a.m. I'll tell you that. Like it flowed super fast for us. I'm like, oh yeah, it's still the morning time. Like when it's nighttime and you've had the day to kind of live, it feels different. I started my day with this. I was like, yeah, no, this shit flew by.
Yeah, for reals. Thank you, Patrick. And I hope you get back home safe. And I am glad that you had a great time at the show. John Taylor says, I should probably explain the joke. Janice just isn't a diehard of Eddie fan. as a lot of us, she doesn't hate him, but it makes us for a good bit. That's kind
Great
of
bit.
how it always goes. But hey, man, look, at the end of the day, everyone has a wrestler that everyone loves, and you're just like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care. Like, whatever.
That's a fact.
Everyone does it. Okay.
Mhm,
I'm not
mhm.
alone on here. All right.
0%.
We got two more matches. Kyle Fletcher, Hiromu Takahashi. Kyle Fletcher is on a run right now. Right now he is that guy that can sort of go in and be the kind of guy that can deliver just amazing matches nonstop. Of course, I don't want to say, oh, he's gonna be like Will Ospreay. Of course, there's a lot of similarities. They have a lot of history together, but he's gonna be his own guy, his own champion. And I've been saying this ever since Kyle Fletcher won, but that dude is gonna go on a run on a lifetime. And so far, have not been proven wrong. This match with Hiromu was great. The match that he had with Ishii was great. The match that he won the title in with Dustin, he's off to a really great start with this. And I want to continue seeing that.
Yeah, I think that starting, well, this is the second match of the show, but kind of getting what what the show was going to represent early in this match really helped with the flow of the card. Kyle Fletcher, like you said, has been on a crazy run. Every match that he's been in the last 6, 7, 8 months have all been bangers. He's really coming to his own, like Denise has said, post the Will Ospreay stuff, because a lot of the first of his career was just like, this guy's living in Will Ospreay's shadow. Is he going to be the next Ospreay? What is he going to be? And I think he's established himself as not that. He's the first Kyle Fletcher. He's going to become that. Since becoming TNT champion, I think he's really, his confidence, all of the stuff that's needed to be a great champion. You could see it in Kyle Fletcher, and it was on display in this match today. This was one of those fast-paced. Takahashi's been known to be in the junior heavyweight division for a long time. So he brought that energy of like, we got this amount of time. The crowd's here. They're ready to see us fucking rock it. Let's rock it. A lot of high impact, kind of innovative stuff. The kind of stuff that you would continuously need to see for the TNT championship. Like, this is the kind of stuff they need to be seeing every Saturday. We need to be having guys like Takahashi, independent wrestlers, all these kind of different individuals taking on Fletcher, really challenging him. I thought this is a great way to establish that he's the TNT champion and kind of start the pay-per-view. I'm super excited about Kyle Fletcher. Like, he's a future world champion for sure.
Exactly. All right, let's try to knock out these matches pretty fast here. We had Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Nigel McGuinness. This was for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. How'd you feel about this one, Reg?
This was, if anything, maybe one of the best matches of the show, honestly. Like, beyond everything, if you just watch the match and you're like, I really like fucking grappling, I really like technical wrestling, I really like two guys countering almost every single move. One guy's super inspired by the other guy, and they get to like have this showdown. And I think it was exactly that showdown. Like, if you were expecting some technical wrap them up in a pretzel type shit, the exact type of Zack Sabre Jr. shit that you would expect, this was it. I thought that Nigel, this may be the best Nigel performance that he's had in these couple of times, because it was full on. Like, the lariat, that one spot where he played possum and Zack Sabre thought he got him and he turned right around and knocked his head off. Disgusting. A lot of the lariat bumps that Zack Sabre was taking on the side of his neck were disgusting. I thought the quick kind of flash pin, getting him up on his shoulders, catching him off guard, was a great way to end this match. Legit one of my favorite matches on the show, because it was exactly as advertised. Like, two of the best technical wrestlers of all time just fucking rocking it. Zack Sabre's great. He's amazing. This was really fun.
It was funny because right when this match started, I was like, yeah, this is not one of those matches that I'm like really looking forward to, because there was so many others that were higher on my list. But I felt like when I was sitting there watching, I'm like, oh, wait, this match went by really fast. And then I went to go look at the times and it was longer than the women's match. And I'm like, wait, it felt shorter. Like, what? There's got to be something wrong here. But that just kind of shows that you kind of got like sort of carried away with swept away rather with what they were doing. All right, last and final one. Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Kip Sabian. Mama Wayne was the shit in this. This match was a little bit of a slow pace here. We kind of mentioned how Adam Copeland was basically going in there until we got Christian Cage with a hot tag and all of that. This was fine. Like, I thought this was more so just about the moment of seeing Christian Cage and Edge, Adam Copeland back in the ring together. But the match itself didn't really have as many memorable moments.
Yeah, I think we're all just building to Toronto All Out, whatever that match is going to be, potentially FTR. They need to have a match with the Young Bucks. This is all that this did for me, Denise. Like, it wasn't the greatest tag match of all time, but it established that Cope and Christian can still work together. And if they're giving time and another great tag team on the other side, they're gonna make fucking magic. Like they had a super fun one with not a lot of time and not a lot of prep and not a lot of thing. Their first match back in 20 plus years against Sabian and Killswitch. Imagine what they do against FTR. Imagine what they do against the Young Bucks. Imagine what they do against some of these well-established teams with story, with time, with layout. I'm really excited about that. I think more than anything of what I saw today. So that's great because it's going to lead to some amazing tag team action. And I think it did what it needed to do to start the pay-per-view. Denise, you got the Cope singing songs, got to see Christian do his little bit of bit. After the match, they didn't do the full hug. We're going to maybe get that in Toronto. I think they told some really good stories in the little amount of time.
Yeah, I think you're right about now, because I remember when they announced this match, I was kind of like, I'm kind of looking forward to it, whatever, right? But after seeing this and seeing, okay, if they can make this kind of match with Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus, which, by the way, really happy to see him back. But now we can see more matches with some more teams and what they might do with any other tag team. So it does feel like there's a little bit more potential on the table instead of just being like, oh, we got to get to this because it's Toronto. And we want to make a moment. Instead of it feeling like just a moment, that feels like there's more potential in it now. Exactly. We got a super chat from John Taylor who says, when the Aussie Open debuted, did any of us have Kyle Fletcher breaking out to be the huge star that he is on his way to being? No, I thought they would just I thought that Aussie Open would be like a strong tag team
me too.
together in the division, but I wasn't expecting them to basically have Kyle Fletcher explode in there. We also have Frank here who says, biggest news from tonight, Brian versus Denise and the Swifties. I have to go back and re-listen to it because I need to listen to tone, how this was said, and what went down. But guys, thank you so much for joining us here today for the AEW Forbidden Door watch along and review. I'm going to log off here, but I'm going to be back for NXT Heatwave, and I'm going to do the watch along and I'm going to do the review. So check back here in a couple of minutes right before the show starts, and I will be here probably 5 minutes before the show actually begins. Reg, tell the people where they can find you.
Every Saturday, I'm on with Philip Lindsay, the Grapsity Podcast on the Fightful Network. Every Wednesday, the Dynamite watch along with my friend here, Denise, and then we're doing the Thursdays on Patreon with the homegirl Denise too. So shout out to y'all.
Every Thursdays, we're doing AEW watch-alongs on the Patreon page. The link is in the description box below. I'll talk about that more on our next stream. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you in a couple of minutes. Bye, everyone.
Peace.